The following program is rated 14 plus and may contain coarse language, violence, mature subject matter, or scenes which may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, welcome to Parkland Media. I am your host, Spade Parkland. Thank you for clicking on the video. According to my analytics, a lot of people who watch my content have not subscribed to the channel. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button to make sure you don't miss out on any notifications. Hit the notification bell and make sure it's set to all. Thanks for watching, and now enjoy the video. Hello, welcome. If you're new here, please subscribe, thumb up the video, share everywhere, including your YouTube community tab. Please and thank you. My name is Spade Parkland. This is a theory video for the show From on MGM Plus and Amazon Prime. Currently, we are waiting on season 4. That's going to be coming out 2026. We are a couple of days away before 2026, and then sometime, hopefully, somewhere in the spring, we get an announcement of when season 4 is going to drop, and we get a trailer. So this video, this might be the last one before 2026. I don't know. This might be the last one. This one's going to be a silly video. It's going to be a conspiracy theory, not much facts, not much information provided. We are going to go full theory, full crazy down the rabbit hole. Yeah, we're going all the way down the rabbit hole. This one's going to be crazy. It's going to be out there. There's going to be a lot of stretching. It's going to be a lot of stretching. But the one theory that is out there that no one has really been able to kind of make heads or tails about, it is the creature of color. Yes. It is the great whale of theories or theorists, because no one knows who this is. Harpo, who that woman? All of the ghoulish children appear to be, we'll just say, European in descent or Caucasian. Majority, or really all of the creatures, except for her, all look like the ghoulish children. They all kind of are Caucasian, or for this video, we'll just say they have no melanin. They have no melanin, talking about the ghoulish children. The creatures have no melanin, yet we got this person right here in the dirty white dress. So who is she? That's what we're going to do for this video. It's going to be silly. If you're wanting a serious video, a serious theory video, this ain't it. We're going all the way into it. Yeah, we're going to go all the way down the rabbit hole, this and that. It's going to get crazy. So again, you've been warned. You've been warned that this is going to be very silly. This has been something that a lot of people have debated and wondered. No one's been able to make heads or tails. We're going to make heads or tails what we have, and I'm going to tie her into people who are currently in the town who will be in season 4. Buckle up. Let's get started, and make sure you wear a helmet, because it will be a bumpy ride. But before we get into the video, we're going to just have a little jam session, end of year jam session with Victor and with Jade, and then we'll get into all of the fun stuff.
When I was just a little boy, I asked my mother, what will I be? Oh, will I be happy? Will I be rich? And this is what she said to me. She said, que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. You should not ask to see. No, no, no. Well, when I grew up and fell in my baby what lies ahead. Oh, will there be sunshine day after day? And this is what my baby said. Sing it! She said, Kate, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. No, no, no. In case you're rock and roll, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. David Alfred. Now I have children of my own. They ask their mother, what will I be? They say, will I be handsome? Will I be rich? Will I get to go to the camp in Peachtree today? And I tell them tenderly, que sera, sera, whatever will be. The future's not ours to see. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Hey, Sarah, Sarah.
Great time to be in Canada. If you're a From fan or a From maniac where it's From all day, every day, imagine if you lived in Canada and you could be a part of this concert. Seeing Jade, seeing Victor jamming out. Man, great way to start the video. This is the scene where Henry, this is season 3, Henry is showing Tabitha the paintings that Miranda painted in the basement from the visions that she saw after the hit of ACID. I think these paintings are from seeing the future and even seeing things in the past. So one painting that I want you to focus on is this painting over here in this right corner. This appears to be a colonist. So Google is our friend. When asking Google, when did colonists first arrive in America? Because From takes place in America, even though it's shot in Canada with Canadian actors and actresses. I digress. Colonists began arriving in America in waves, with the first permanent English settlement established at Jamestown, Virginia in 1607. When we use Google, I typed in Jamestown colonist winter clothing because when you look at this picture, it's got like what appears to be white fur or something on the outside or on the inside of the clothing, which I guess is like more of a winter wear. I'm not really sure, but it looks like it's some type of fur to keep you warm. So when looking at the colonists based off of Google Images, it kind of appears that what Miranda painted was a colonist to me. So when clicking on a colonist picture and making it larger, it does appear that this colonist person matches this painting right here. So we're going to say that this is a colonist. But the colonist's face is black as if it's undergone something. For this theory or this video, I'm going to believe that this colonist right here is after making the deal with it, after sacrificing teddy bears and gaining everlasting life. Further into the scene, when Tabitha is looking around at the different paintings and the camera is giving us a janky angle to where we can't see everything properly. With the janky angle, we see another painting of a colonist. And like I said before, like a minute ago, maybe less, that This one appears to be, we'll just say, normal, Caucasian, a regular person. So in a previous theory video, I was saying that I believe that the Jamestown colonists came, colonized, they did not have resources, and eventually they started to eat each other to survive, which is called the starving time. It's kind of documented that there was a starving time, and it's also documented that like the Roanoke colony, they mysteriously disappeared. I think what ended up happening in this theory, or in the previous video, that the colonists, they went through the starving time, lack of resources, no animals around. They were struggling, started eating each other, and then they took the bodies of the people they had been munching on and themselves and went into the caves. So they were ashamed of what they did to survive, and they went into the caves. In the caves, that's where they stumbled upon it, and it started to make promises and said, hey, I can keep you from dying. I can keep you from starving. You're already munching on people. You already are doing rituals to summon stuff. I'm here. I tell you what, you're already doing rituals. You're already munching on people. You already doing communion like they do in modern times. During communion, they have crackers or bread and they say this represents the body. Then they have wine or juice and say this represents the blood, talking about Jesus. They consume both of them, which is a symbolic ritual of cannibalism. You already are doing that. Let me present you with an offer. You sacrifice some teddy bears and I will give you everlasting life. And the colonists did that to get everlasting life. So they started to mate with each other, and then their teddy bears were born in the dark. They kept them in the dark. The original Jay, the original Tabitha, they're already doing communion, already doing the rituals, already practicing paganism, already praying to whatever God will answer. And they agree, we're going to make these teddy bears, we're going to sacrifice them, we'll have everlasting life, we will survive this starving time. And I think Jade and Tabitha were on board singing lullabies to the teddy bears until one of the teddy bears was going to be a cub. And they didn't want to take out a cub. They rebelled. They tried to free the children. It didn't work. They were taken out, and their daughter was a part of the teddy bears that were sacrificed. Paraphrasing from the previous video. So seeing the sacrifice of the teddy bears, more than likely consuming their essence or whatever, or draining their energy, or if we're basing it off of like Stephen King, which most horror shows typically are as far as his work, their hope that they put into the roots that became the faraway tree is equivalent to shine or psychic energy. So it consumed their shine or psychic energy, and the teddy bears just became ghosts, which is why they're just kind of hanging out in the cave and also in the forest. They're trapped since they've been consumed. And so it gave them everlasting life. While they were humans, they were already doing monstrous stuff of consuming each other or consuming other people, practicing rituals that would be considered pagan right now, sacrificing teddy bears, being murderous. I mean, when you're talking about colonizers usually are deceitful, deceptive. They go to the locals and say, hey, we want to work with you. Then they turn on them. So they were already monstrous to begin with. After the Faustian bargain, they just became more monstrous as far as making their deal. But I think that there was two sacrifices. The first one was they received everlasting life by sacrificing teddy bears, still had their human form. And then the 1950s, when the automobile became a thing and it was easier for people to get away, they made another Faustian bargain. But instead of sacrificing teddy bears, because they can't make teddy bears anymore, it didn't want teddy bears. It wanted their humanity. So to kind of give more context, the first Faustian bargain was everlasting life, where they sacrificed teddy bears. Second Faustian bargain was mid-century, where they made the trap so if people did drive there, they couldn't leave, and they sacrificed their humanity, which kind of goes into what Jasmine was saying, or the Jasmine creature was saying to Kevin, and that she didn't ask to be like this. They probably didn't think they were going to become monsters or creatures. They probably were thinking, okay, I'll sell my soul and I just will be soulless. They didn't know they were going to be looking like creatures and looking like monsters. That's my theory on that. So I digress. So with this, on the left, this is human form. And then this is creature form, as in I think Miranda saw them. This is after they made the sacrifice of their teddy bears. So they're not necessarily creatures for real, like in the mid-century sacrifice. This is just after they've made the deal and now they have the everlasting life, but they're not like creatures. They're just like evil and ugly inside because of what they've done, what they've accepted, and they got what they wanted. So before Faustian bargain for everlasting life, afterwards, and now they're basically just one with the devil. They're not creatures. It's just they've done some stuff where there is no coming back. You got everlasting life. We're one with the devil. Because the thing is like when it comes to the colonizers who came from Europe, most of them were Christian. So if you're praying and praying and praying to Jesus and praying and praying to Yahweh, to God, you're starving, people are dying left and right, and you're like, God's not answering my prayers. Then you decide to possibly expand your options on who you pray to, and it shows up. Now it's like, well, I don't really want to deal with you, but I guess I am. And then that's where you got the whole, now I'm working with the devil. And that's why I think that it's illustrated in black, because they just have sold their soul. Now they're evil.
Oh, no.
Sounds confusing, I know, because some people will say, well, you sacrifice teddy bears, but God will forgive you. If you're making a deal with the devil, a Faustian bargain, you're pretty much going to go to hell. Like, you have everlasting life where you die and are brought back. Once you finally die a true death, there is no getting into heaven, in my opinion. Anyway, let's keep going.
Let's do the damn thing.
Okay, so asking Google again, Google's our friend. Did colonists have slaves? So we all know they did, but I want Google to show you just in case you have doubts. So yes, colonists in all 13 American colonies had slaves. Slavery existed in every colony from New England to the South, though its scale and economic role varied, with the southern colonies developing slave societies dependent on enslaved African labor for cash crops, while northern colonies had smaller, less central slavery, often involving Native Americans and maritime trade. So, I mean, in my opinion, I think it's more likely that the indigenous population in America were the primary slaves, and people who came from the continent of Africa came thinking they were coming for work, and then they became enslaved. So in my opinion, I think majority of people who were enslaved were actually the indigenous population. That's just what I believe. Buying someone enslaved in Africa, in the continent of Africa, and then having them get on a boat and go all the way to America and then sell them to people or just use them as slaves, you're going to lose like 3/4 of the people you've bought, because they're not going to survive the journey, especially when you're not feeding them properly. They're not able to move around, and they're not able to live in humane conditions. And then also you got to factor in that the climate that they're going to is not suitable for what they're used to. And then on top of that, majority of them more than likely were not seaworthy, because what we've seen in history books and in movies, the enslaved people were just like in cramped compartments, or they were the ones rowing. To me, it seemed more likely that people who were enslaved in America were more than likely the indigenous population who had been conquered, because it's a part of the U.S. Army's history that the Army was unsuccessful in defeating the indigenous population, also known as Native Americans. They were unsuccessful. They had to basically offer weapons and technology to one tribe that was the enemy of another tribe in the area or territory they wanted to take over. So if you wanted to take over, let's say, Arkansas or Louisiana, going in there and fighting them did not work. So you would talk to another tribe in Mississippi who wants to get rid of their rivals in Arkansas, offer the people in Mississippi, this is just just a way of explaining it, offer the people in Mississippi weapons and technology and support in getting rid of their enemy, and say, hey, we'll split the land. You help us get land, we'll help you get rid of your enemy. And then that's why you have indigenous population enslaving other indigenous population historically, and you also have Native Americans working with the Europeans against other tribes, because unfortunately the indigenous population, they were not united under one chief, that's where the phrase comes, too many chiefs, not enough Indians, in that they're not united as one nation. And that's pretty much how the U.S. Army was able to systematically defeat a lot of tribes, by working with rival tribes. And then the rival tribes that were like, yeah, we got rid of our enemies, we're good. Spaghetti-o. Then the colonizers turned on the tribes that went against other indigenous population. And then that's where you have the Trail of Tears. And it's unfortunate.
We gonna go through this today. It ain't no sisterhood.
Yep. So it's unfortunate. That's what happened. And according to the U.S. Army, and I believe it, that they were not able to effectively defeat the indigenous population who were coming at them with hammers and bows and arrows, axes, taking scalps. The colonists or the colonizers, they were using a line formation to shoot people, whereas the indigenous population was running and using guerrilla warfare, throwing stuff, using animals, using the terrain, blending in. The indigenous population was Rambo. Every person was Rambo because they had a warrior society, whereas the colonists, they were blue bloods, civilized. So with them being civilized, they didn't know how to truly fight and conquer. Native Americans showed them how. So anyway, so the colonists did have slaves. And so the reason why I say that is because that's how you would get her. We don't know if she was indigenous population before she made the deal, or if she came with them. I'm going to say that she came with them. Now, I think the reason why she's with them as a creature, and we're going to assume that she made the same Faustian bargain in the beginning, and that even though she's a creature of color and there was a caste system back then, and she may have been a descendant of enslaved people, I'm going to say because of, and this is the stretch, this is the yoga stretch, but back then, if you were African in descent, because she does not appear to be like she's from South Asia, like India or something. It appears that she kind of is from some part of Africa, just based off of her facial features and bone structure. To me, it appears that she is from maybe like Northern Africa, like Nigeria or something, as far as where she descended from. So in this theory, we're going to say that she's from Northern Africa as far as descending. So to me, the reason why she would be a descendant of enslaved people and Northern African and be with her, who more than likely was like one of the original colonists that came and was the original townspeople as in Jamestown, is because she, in this theory, is the byproduct of a European and someone who was enslaved. So the children of slave masters were still slaves themselves. They were higher up on the totem pole than people who were just simply enslaved. In my opinion, she came from enslaved people. She's Northern African, but she's with them because she may have been the byproduct of slave masters or a slave family, and she grew up with the original townspeople or Jamestown people in this theory. So it's a different dynamic when you have someone who is the child of a slave master and enslaved. That child may be gifted to the child of a slave master who's Caucasian. Kind of like in that movie, you probably haven't seen it, but I'm going to reference it anyway. Like in the movie, or really the television series Roots, the Kizzy character. So Kizzy's a bad example because Kizzy's a product of Kuta Kente and her mom. I forgot what the mom's name was, but Chicken George was the byproduct of Kizzy, who Kizzy was a descendant of slavery, and she also was enslaved. But Chicken George was the byproduct of slave master and Kizzy. So Chicken George, even though he was a slave, the slave master treated him like a son and had him raising chickens. Well, that's why they called him Chicken George. And he was involved with the chickens fighting. Chicken George, who is slave master's son, who is enslaved, he's going to have better accommodations than his mom, Kizzy. So once Kizzy got old to where she couldn't work anymore, couldn't have any children, she just became kind of like the maid or the nanny and just became a part of the family. They're taking pictures and Kizzy's right there. Whereas Chicken George felt like, the way Chicken George was raised and how he was treated, Chicken George was like one of the family for real. Like he's enslaved, but we're not going to brand him or have him do anything crazy. So in this theory that the white dress creature or creature of color, she basically is equivalent to Chicken George. And that's why she's with them. Like she grew up with them. They regard her as being family and a friend. And so she's with them. She made the same Faustian bargain. In this theory, and again, it's a stretch, it's a yoga stretch, she mated with someone who is European in descent, and that's the teddy bear that she sacrificed to gain her everlasting life, and that was a part of her Faustian bargain. So she's with them. So it's like, hey, I'm with you, let's do it, let's go. That is the connection, I think, as to, or the reason why you have a creature of color with the rest of the creatures who are all Caucasian, all European in descent, or all Canadian, white Canadian. That's the reason why you'd have her with them, in my opinion. I'm using that based off of the paintings we see in Henry's basement, and all the buildings in the township are the same except for one, and that is the quote unquote church. And that's because that's what Father Kotri turned it into when he started preaching. Now, if you go back and watch the episodes, you'll notice they don't really show you much except for season 3, but we see Victor with Tabitha and Sarah in tow go into the church. The church does not have a doorknob. So it has a door, but no doorknob. So when putting this picture of the church into Google, first thing that popped up was the Arcola slave quarters. And this is in Lubbock County, Virginia. So Lubbock County Historical Society. And you can kind of barely see it, but these are what the slave quarters look like. They kind of have the same type of doors and windows. Most of the time in America, the slave quarters were wooden or a cheaper material. Slave quarters that were made from stone, as far as Americans, was like for your house slaves. They were in more stable and sturdy conditions because they were more valuable to the slave master. So if you could play an instrument, if you could deal with horses or chickens like Chicken George, or you were like a butler in the house, you were basically in a stone house. The other location is the Hampton National Historical Site. There were 2 stone buildings designed in a style for ornament appeal, contrasting with typical wooden quarters, and that's according to the National Park Service. So the wooden quarters were kind of like away somewhere and hidden off to the side near the field because they were considered an eyesore. but the slave quarters that were made from stone were more presentable. And to me, that may be the reason why the church is located next to actual houses. That's American standards of the slave society or just antebellum slavery. That's how they got down. But the Europeans were different. I'm not saying they were better. But the Europeans had more of a better way of going about slavery. They were less about survival like America has been, and they were more about having an established society, and this is a part of the caste system. So if you were enslaved, you were brought in, let's say, to the British Empire, the first generation, you'd be living in maybe like stone conditioned houses. After like your third generation, the fourth generation, which would be like the great grandchildren of the enslaved people, they're now just a part of the caste system. So in America, because America is newer, or the colonies were newer than the British system, the Americans had to use what was at their disposal in order to make slave quarters. Whereas the British Empire, they had more money, had been around longer, had more of a caste system. They had all their slaves in stone. Not all, but majority of them were in stone. They were considered more like family. Because if you're born into a caste system, this is how it is. Versus people who have been newly enslaved, they have to be conditioned to adopt that way of thinking. With the colonizers coming over to America, it's more than likely that when they came, they enslaved the local population. The people they brought with them more than likely were just conditioned to be a part of the caste system. I'm not going to say that they didn't have wooden slave quarters in Britain. It's just because they've had a slavery society for so long, it's a part of their natural order of things. So they're going to be getting rid of the wooden places and replacing them with better accommodations because their society is more intertwined in the caste system, in that if you're born with melanin and you come from descendants of enslaved people, you're not going to rise up. You're where you are permanently forever unless you marry someone that takes mercy on you, and that person pulls you up to a higher societal level. So in this theory, the colonists, when they came over to the township and they were building structures, they still had in mind that this person is with us, but still lower on the totem pole as far as the caste system. So we're going to have you in this stone. We're not going to have you in the accommodations that we have because you're family, but you're the redheaded stepchild, okay? That's in this theory. Now, there are other situations where a stone structure can be used for quarters of soldiers. Then you have supply areas. But in all the places that I looked at, it made more sense that a place that has, or a structure that has no doorknob, so you can't lock the door. You can only just close it, but you can't lock it. And there's no windows, and it's pretty much one way in, one way out. I just came to the conclusion this is more than likely slave quarters. But you may come to a different conclusion, and there are no wrong answers because we don't know for sure. And the houses are more modern than this stone structure, which is what we call the church. There are more modern structures. I think the other structures that were there were more than likely destroyed after the North defeated the South in America. So when the North came in to enforce that slavery had ended, a lot of the houses on the plantation were destroyed by former enslaved people. But I think they would keep their own structure there, even though the master's family and the workers are either defeated or they've been taken out by the Northern Army. The enslaved people were basically just left there to their own devices. So what I mean is, just like in the movie Emancipation with Will Smith, I know that Will Smith, right? In the movie Emancipation, after Will Smith was like freed, or when not freed, but after the Union Army came and kind of like, we'll say saved him, he and the other people who used to be enslaved to the South joined the Union Army and were fighting against other Southerners. Well, after the Southerners were defeated, as far as the military, they had to physically go from house to house to house, freeing enslaved people. Well, when they rolled up and was like, okay, you free, you can leave, you free, most of them looked up, looked at each other, and just went back to working, because what else were we going to do? And then after the North left the South, after the Civil War was over with, most of the people who were enslaved were like, so do you want us to come with you? And the Northerners were like, we don't care what you do, but we're not messing with you though. So most of the people who were enslaved, who were quote unquote freed, they basically just stayed in the South because they had nowhere else to go, and they just kept on doing what they were doing. So basically I'm saying is, in this theory, all of the structure that was associated with the former colonists were destroyed during the Civil War, which is why we have the Civil War soldier that was shooting at Jade. They were destroyed by the Civil War, and a lot of their homes were burnt down by Union soldiers or by former enslaved people or other Southerners who were jealous. They were destroyed, and I think what was rebuilt was Colony House, which is like a mansion that looks kind of like a plantation house, and other buildings were built around this former slave quarters, and like they just created this town after it. So I think that this church that's called a church, this stone building, is just a byproduct of the past, where in this theory she was living here. And now the rest of the colonists who had everlasting life, they may have just retreated to the cave like she did, and they just didn't really come topside unless they were going to get victims. They were originally living topside, made the deal with it in the cave, became cave dwellers, and also were living in these houses. Then during the Civil War, most of their stuff was destroyed. They just became permanent cave dwellers, and this church was left behind, and other people came and built around it. And that's where you have Colony House and the rest of the houses that were built by people who came after the Civil War, when they started to rebuild the town, and then in time during mid-century made the diner, the hotel, and a lot of other things that has modern appeals to it, such as the hotel and the diner with the neon lights. That is how I think she is connected. And this is all a theory. Okay, this is a stretch. It's a yoga stretch. That's how I think that she is connected to the church, and that she used to live there as part of slave quarters and this stone structure in this caste system. So now you're probably asking yourself, well, wait a minute. What does this have to do with the people who are currently in the town? Season 2, episode 9, Ball of Magic Fire.
You're doing a great job, the way you handled everything tonight. You're going to be a great mom.
I think Tilly was practicing black magic. That's how she knew. I think that's how she knew. But anyway, Tilly says that she's a grandmother and she knows a pregnant woman when she sees one. I don't know. But that's up for debate. Maybe that's a future video or something. I don't know. You can let me know in the comment section what you think. I think Tilly just knows black magic. I mean, she was messing around with tarot cards. Not tarot cards, but yeah, the tarot cards. Season 3, which kind of explains the deal with I don't know. To me, it explains the deal with that as far as Tilly using black magic, occultism. Anyway, let's keep going.
You're pregnant?
Yeah. How did you know? Sweetie, I've had 4 kids and 7 grandchildren. I know an expecting mother when I see one.
Yeah, right. Okay, so we're going to watch the rest of it, but at this moment when Fatima says, yes, I'm preggers, She looks at Elgin. Elgin has a feeling. Elgin remembers a dream he had from hearing this news.
Hey, what's wrong?
I just remembered my dream.
Get your tea and your popcorn, because this is going to be another good one.
This whole time, I felt like there was something. Like there was a reason why I had that dream on the bus.
Okay, so Elgin had the dream on the bus. So when he woke up and told Bakta, turn around, and she's like, nah, we ain't turning around. I got a schedule to keep. I'm trying to make this money. You gonna get to where you getting, and we gonna get you off this bus. We gonna get you off of this thing. So in the dream, he was told a nursery rhyme.
Like there was something I was supposed to remember. And I don't know, but when Fatima said she was pregnant,
Oh, she didn't tell Ellis. Didn't tell Ellis.
Oh, come on, bucko.
Yeah. Didn't have that conversation.
Nobody would never understand. Like, I didn't choose his life.
about the dream. There was this boy, all dressed in white, and he kept repeating the same phrase over and over. Here they come. They come for 3, unless you stop the melody.
Interesting. So, Elgin had the dream with the boy in white telling Elgin the nursery rhyme. Boyd got the worms from Martin. So, the worms didn't become cicadas until he put the worms in the Smiley. So, that was like maybe the middle of season 2. So, Elgin heard the nursery rhyme before Boyd got the worms. In my opinion, there really is no reason for the nursery rhyme and the worms, which became cicadas, to have really anything to do with each other, because the nursery rhyme became a thing before the cicadas were a thing, and really before the music box monster was freed from the dungeon. The bus came into town the end of season 1. The end of season 1, the bus came into town. Elgin basically had this dream season 1. He just wasn't presented as a character until season 2. Boyd went through the faraway tree season 1 and then went to Martin. Boyd was at the bottom of the well. In this theory, he's at the bottom of the well looking up, trapped down there, right when the bus comes into town. Elgin had this dream with the boy in white saying the nursery rhyme before Boyd had the worms, before Boyd met Martin, before Boyd left the dungeon with the torch. So in my opinion, the nursery rhyme has nothing to do with the music box monster, the worms, the dungeon, Martin, Boyd. Okay, so this is season 1, episode 10 on the left. Boyd's at the bottom of the well. Bottom of the well, season 1, episode 10.
Sir, what? Hey, hello?
Looking up, he's trapped.
Hello?
I still believe the boy in white set Boyd up to be captured.
Hey! Hey! Hello? I can't anybody hear me! Hello! Hey! 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 Hello! Hey!
Boyd is down there in the well. The boy in white told Sarah to get into the faraway tree. Sarah was taken to the bottom of the church in the basement. Boyd is in this well. And this is the last scene of season 1, episode 10. Okay, so this is the bus right here. This is the Michigan Grand Rapids bus. So even though Elgin Williams and Bakta and the rest of the people on the bus, even though we're not introduced to them season 2, technically they were there season 1. Now, Elgin had the dream and was saying, turn around, after they saw the tree, according to what Bakta told Jade. So what that means is Elgin had the dream while he was in Fromland, after they saw the tree, according to Bakta. So that means Elgin had the prophetic dream while in Fromville before Boyd got the worms, met Martin, left the dungeon with the torch, and freed the music box monster. Because the boy in white said the nursery rhyme to Elgin in his dream, season 1, before Boyd got the worms, made the cicadas and all that, the rhyme is not inclusive with the music box monster, the cicadas, the worms. In this theory, the nursery rhyme is a separate thing. This is season 1, episode 10, boys and girls. Yeah, so everybody in the bus basically was in season 1. They just weren't shown to us as far as names and faces and everything. But yeah, everybody in the bus was technically season 1. And again, the nursery rhyme was introduced season 1. Let's let Elgin finish.
Wait, I know that one.
Whoa! Let me get this straight. Elgin heard the nursery rhyme from the boy in white season 1 before they pulled up on the bus. Because remember, Bakta ended up going to the diner because Elgin threw up and she had to clean the bus because it's a biohazard to have bodily fluids on a bus like that. So that's what made Bakta finally pull over, is Elgin throwing up. Elgin had the dream before waking up and saying, pull over or turn around or whatever, and threw up. The boy in white had this nursery rhyme that he's telling Elgin, unless it's proven season 4 or 5, no one else has heard this nursery rhyme. Well, no one else knows what it means. But guess who's heard of the nursery rhyme before going into Fromville? Bakta. Bakta heard the nursery rhyme from her grandmother before going into Fromville, more than likely when she was younger.
It's an old nursery rhyme. My grandmother used to sing it to me. They touch, they break, they steal. No one here is free. Here they come for 3, unless you stop the melody.
Okay, unless you stop the melody. Okay, so this is a stretch. It's a yoga stretch. But don't Bakta look somewhat similar to the white dress creature? I mean, it's a stretch. It's a yoga stretch. But same nose, same cheekbones, maybe even the same hair. And I'm not just saying because both of them would be considered black, but they eerily look similar. Look at the cheek structure. Look at the lips. I mean, they just look very, very similar. I bet if the creature of color or the creature in the white dress pulls her hair back, probably even has the same ears. Now you could say, well, maybe all people who have melanin look alike. No, there's very similar characteristics by these two actresses. And in this theory, again, it's a stretch, it's a yoga stretch. I think that they hired her and even hired Bakta because they look alike. Okay, that is That is the theory. I know.
I didn't anticipate it to be this wild, though, by the way.
Yeah, it's going to get crazy. In this theory, the nursery rhyme that we believe has nothing to do with the music box monster, the worms, Martin, the cicadas. Nursery rhyme is just a nursery rhyme. But I think the only reason Bakta has heard it is because everyone else is from America, and actually Bakta's bloodline is from more of a European descent. Here's my logic. Okay, so when putting Bakta, which is spelled Bakta, into Google and having a country origin, it says the name Bakta has diverse origins. It's a Hungarian, Slovak surname from Bartholomew, an Indian name meaning devotee. And Bakta means fortunate in Persian, while Bak can be a Chinese transliteration or a nickname meaning billy goat. So we're going to focus on European descent, Hungary, Slovakia. The actual actress's name is Angela. It's like a westernized name. But Bakta is more of a European name. And here's what I'm thinking. Happened. So the creature of color, the creature in the white dress, she came over with the rest of her people and made the Faustian bargain. The nursery rhyme was a part of like their community. They all knew the nursery rhyme, no big deal. So she came and made the bargain, whereas like her relative, like sibling, cousins, and the rest of them didn't go and make the voyage. They stayed in Europe and they continued to produce or reproduce. So Bakta's grandmother, who told Bakta the nursery rhyme, is a descendant of the same people related to her. That's the reason why the boy in white is saying this nursery rhyme, because it has a significant thing to their family and their bloodline and also the people in town. And I'm going off of this with Bakta having a Hungarian Slovakian name. I think the reason the boy in white said the nursery rhyme in a dream to Elgin's grandmother may be the same grandmother of Bakta, or at least maybe they know each other. Or I'm thinking they're the same. For this theory, they're the same grandmother. Bakta's grandmother was also Elgin's grandmother. And so that's how Bakta's grandmother knows the nursery rhyme and said it to Bakta. No one else has ever heard it. Bakta heard it, I'm assuming, while she was growing up. And the boy in white told this to Elgin because Elgin has some type of shine or ability that the boy in white could communicate with. The boy in white telling Elgin the nursery rhyme that Elgin may not have heard while growing up. Elgin was able to communicate the nursery rhyme to Bakta, who had heard it while growing up, who can communicate it to the group, even though there wasn't any more information given as far as that. But Bakta just simply hearing it while growing up, I think that's what made people pay attention to it more. I personally, if I was in the writing room, I would have went more in depth with Bakta's relationship to the nursery rhyme. I know we're going on season 4. Nursery rhyme hasn't been heard in season 3. It's kind of like a dead end, if you will. But I think that Bakta hearing the nursery rhyme while growing up from her grandmother has ties to Fromville because the boy in white said it to Elgin. I think Elgin's grandmother and Bakta's grandmother could be the same person, or maybe they know each other. In this theory, I'm gonna say that they're the same person, and that the same grandmother that told Elgin that angels were terrifying, and that's what made Elgin want to trust and work with the kimono woman. Their grandmothers, if they're the same or two different ladies, they have a connection with the creature of color who came from Europe with the colonists. Again, it's a stretch. It's a yoga stretch. I just think that is the different degrees of separation between the creature of color, how she got here, why she's in town, where she lives, and the connection that she has with Bakta and his nursery rhyme. And that's the reason why the boy in white chose him to communicate with, as far as communicating this nursery rhyme, because the boy in white could have told Sarah this, could have told Victor this, maybe even Ethan, but he chose Elgin right when Elgin came into town, because Elgin and Bakta have a connection, not just with the nursery rhyme, but in blood, connected to this creature in white and the town. The man in the yellow suit also said the nursery rhyme on the phone. I'll find that in a moment. We'll let Bakta go ahead and finish.
No one here is free. Here they come for three, unless you stop the melody.
Because Bakta heard this nursery rhyme while growing up, it really should have nothing to do with the music box monster, the cicadas, the worms, or anything, because Elgin heard this nursery rhyme on the bus season 1 when he was coming into town. No, actually, before coming into town, after seeing the tree. Hey! All right, it's the best part of the show. But before we get started on donations, then getting back into the video, so if you want something to play in the background while you work or on a drive, whatever the situation, check out the From playlist. I got it on the Posts tab. You can find it on the channel. Here are the tabs. Here are all the tabs. This is if you're on a desktop or tablet. On a phone, it should be the same tabs, should be the same thing. You got to look for it. But under the Post tab, you'll see the playlist, all of the From videos, none of the live streams. Live streams have a different tab, but I posted the playlist for all the uploaded videos that you can check out here. There's currently 211 videos. We're going to add some more once season 4 starts sometime in 2026. So there you go with that. And then I also posted season 3 didn't end the way you think. For those of you all who haven't checked it out, check it out. And now we're going to get into the best part of the program, and that is these good old donations, helping to keep the lights on around here. Yeah.
Don't forget to like, sub, and share. Thank you.
Yes. Don't forget to do it.
If you haven't done so, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you like the stream, fam. That helps with the algo. And welcome all.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I appreciate the support.
You're also keeping the lights on around me. What is up?
First up is thank you, Adventurous Exile, for the super thanks. He says, Parkland, you've done it again. He was talking about the Numbers Were Not Musical Notes video because he loves it. Also, I saw the Nkui meaning. What's crazy is actually English. The kids when they see Tabitha or Jade are like, it's good you are alive and came to see us again. And Ku, we get to hang out now that you are reincarnated. Cheesy stretch, I know. Please no tomatoes. Yeah, it's going to be tomatoes because every time those ghoulish children... Every time the ghoulish children were interacting with Tabitha, they seemed like they were stalking her, harassing her, scaring her. And to me, that goes along that kind of lines up with the idea that Tabitha and Jade were a part of the traffickers who were going to sacrifice the teddy bears. So I don't know. Yeah. So I said, boo, tomatoes. Those Nkui kids were frowned up and harassing Tabitha, and they need to think happy thoughts like the Lost Boys. Yeah.
Yikes. Yikes.
Yeah, just scaring everybody. But yeah, thank you for the super thanks. I appreciate it. And then going on to Mike Sullivan, he says, theory, this is on the numbers were not music notes videos. This theory, Jade was Greek philosopher Pythagoras in a past life. Now he's a phromosphere in this one. But seriously, there is a tuning system named after that guy. I love music, although don't mess with music theory. But my understanding is that Pythagoras was applying, or at least trying to apply, math to music. In any case, I think music is a major motive on From. I only found the show. So my response was, thank you, Mike, for the super thanks. K Sarah Sarah, whatever will be, will be. Doris Day, who performed the song originally, was the original actress with the girl next door on-screen image. Would be cool if Sophia season 4 or someone else was on the show to pay homage to her. Thank you for the super thanks. Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Sound effect is kind of late, but thank you, thank you, thank you. And so next we have Amanda Kenny, Amanda the Great, first of her name, She Who Remains, MVP, greatest of all time. She donates through super thanks. The numbers were not musical notes. I say thanks for watching and the super thanks. Thank you, Amanda, for being a channel member. Thank you, Michael Sullivan, for being a channel member. And thank you, Adventurous Exile, for being a channel member. I appreciate it. Yeah, you three have been channel members and donating since at least October. I know before, but at least October 2024. We're talking from, and it's December 2025. So you all have been channel members, donating every video, best of the best. You all have no idea. That means a lot to me. I appreciate it. And what other people can do, if you don't want to be a channel member, or you don't want to donate through by super thanks, you can also watch ads without skipping, become a channel member, become a YouTube premium member. You can also, if not super thanks, you can donate through Cash App. That is $ Spade Parkland. Thumb up the video, comment in the comment section, share share everywhere, including your YouTube community tab. And if watching on a cell phone and you see the hype button, click and hype me up. Yeah, so everybody's supporting since From season 3 ended all the way till now, and we're in December 2025. We're a couple of days away from the new year, which will be 2026. We're going to be waiting on season 4, and you all have been supporting. So that means a lot to me. I really appreciate it, and you all keep me motivated to keep cranking out these theory videos as opposed to just thinking it in my head and just keeping it to myself. So I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we have a Cash App. I appreciate it. This is from Jennifer A. So I didn't want to put your last name out there because only time I'll say someone's first and last name is if they make it like a YouTube channel or whatever, because there are people who are kind of like crazy in this world, and you may not want your last name to be out there, but you got your picture, and I appreciate you donating by Cash App. And she says, for helping to keep the lights on, I appreciate it.
You're also keeping the lights on around me. What is up?
Yes, got to keep the lights on. It's cold outside during the holiday season here in the States. So thank you, Jennifer A., for the Cash App. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And also another super thanks from Amanda Kenny, the Great, on those things out there they like to play. Donna giving Tabitha the rundown is the classic. So Donna also gave it to the bus people, but the bus people were more hostile. They didn't really have a chance to really calm them down when they gave it to them. But yeah, Donna giving Tabitha the rundown is a classic. Thank you, Amanda Kenny, 4997 for the super thanks. I appreciate it. And another one, I'm telling you, MVP from Amanda. So thank you, Amanda, for the super thanks. So she said there is a town area in Maine called Rangeley, and it resembles the town area in the Mist a lot. And this is on the when I did the It Welcome to Dairy video. And yeah, I don't know, Maine. I don't know what's going on with Maine, but Stephen King's got It in Maine running around wreaking havoc, has The Mist in Maine, and also Tabitha was pushed out the lighthouse into Maine and brought Henry back in, and also Victor and the rest of the Kavanaughs. They're from Maine. So I don't know what's up with Maine, but if you live in Maine, you better watch out. Okay? Because Maine is out here. I don't know. Maine's out here. I think someone's trying to tell you all to watch your back. Watch your back if you're in Maine. I'm just saying. So I said thank you, Amanda, for the super thanks. Yeah, Rangeley, Maine is the home of Kurt Russell. So if the Mist shows up, Kurt might burn the monsters in it like he did in the classic movie The Thing. So thank you, Amanda Kenny, for the super thanks. I appreciate it. Another one from another channel member, Adventurous Exile. Thank you for the super thanks on the channel member videos. Was the voice saying he was Thomas really the boy in white? Gotta check it out. He did the super thanks saying, you know what, man, here's another super chat for making that video as the From General. I appreciate it. He says he really appreciates it. He says he still goes back and watches. Felt like you made a timeliness with all of us in it. Doggone it. Here it is to you, my friend. Holds up a glass, and I appreciate the super thanks. Thank you.
Super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Yes, especially because you all are donating, keeping me going, keeping me motivated. I appreciate it. And so I responded with, we are going to put 20 on 10 when season 4 starts. And I posted the From playlist that I mentioned before doing all of the donations. So yes, everybody check out that From playlist. We're going to put 20 on 10. We're going to put foot to gas, and we're going to definitely go full speed ahead. All right, another channel member, Michael Sullivan, on was the voice saying he was Thomas really the boy in white video. If Dan _ reacts to my reaction video, would that be a Fromception? Says Stephen King praised From on Twitter during the early days, so real recognize real. And I think that From took elements from Stephen King's books, and that's like a great baseline if you want to know how From is going to end. And so I thanked him for the super thanks. I've seen people react to a reaction to a reaction to a reaction to the point where I didn't know what the original video was about, and it felt like a 3-layered shared dream, just like Inception. Yeah. It felt like Inception. People just react to reaction to reaction, and it gets all over the place. But yeah, thank you, Michael Sullivan, for the super thanks. I appreciate it.
You're out here doing the damn thing. Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Another one from Mike Sullivan, channel member, donating, super thanks, doing it. Perfect. Says, really enjoying these reaction vids so much. Food for thought. Cool to see Geek Atomy too. He's a good dude. Happy holidays. Yes, happy holidays to you too. I said super thanks on the R From's Modern Town Construction and Original Sacrifice different time periods member videos. I appreciate it. Thank you. Best part of the show is over with. this definitely was a silly one. A lot of yoga stretching, and let's get back to the stretching. Tia and Chen and Kenny having a nice, I guess this is dinner, maybe lunch.
Mom. 嗰個人呢？仲未瞓醒嘅，你肚唔肚啊？少少啦。坐低，我整緊你最中意食嘅。有冇人幫你？你捉佢啊。
Okay. So Kenny's going to answer the phone. Pay attention to not just what's said, but who it sounds like it's saying it.
Hello? Hello? Who is this?
All right, so that sounds like it's the man in the yellow suit. So the boy in white said the nursery rhyme to Elgin before Boyd got the worms, before the music box monster, before the cicadas, and Kenny's hearing the nursery rhyme on the phone from a voice that sounds like it's the man in the yellow suit. So the man in the yellow suit and the boy in white are both saying the nursery rhyme, repeating it over and over and over again. And the same nursery rhyme was heard by Bakta from her grandmother while growing up. And I believe that this nursery rhyme has origins not just in Fromville, but also from the colonists that came from Europe, with some of them coming to America and colonizing, the rest of the bloodline staying behind. And to me, in this theory, that's the reason why the bus was brought into Fromville. It's because Elgin was going to be on the bus. Bakta was supposed to be off that day. Somehow, some way, something kind of nudged her to go ahead and work and be on the bus that Elgin was going to be on. Her relative in this theory, and that's the reason why the bus was brought into town. So Randall was just someone who was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Marielle, I think, in my opinion, was a character created because the actress who plays Christy wanted her character to be LGBTQ and wanted represented on the show. So they created Marielle to give her that mate. And to me, that's the reason why Christy was sidelined, because I think originally Christy was supposed to be one of the people in the dungeon possessed by the cicadas, but they sidelined her because that kind of changed what they had as far as the story. So Marielle is a non-factor. Christy's been sidelined. It happens. But the main reason why the bus was brought into Fromville is because Bakta was the driver and Elgin Williams was going to be on the bus. Bakta's last name has not been revealed. It might be Williams as well. And, you know, not everybody is getting together talking about who their people are, who they come from, and their origin. Most people are kind of like, I want to go home. I don't trust anyone. I'm going to keep to myself. But that nursery rhyme, even though it wasn't used in season 3 and hadn't been talked about, I think that nursery rhyme connects Bakta with Elgin, connects both of them to the creature of color. And I think that explains who this is, even though we only saw her on the show for like 30 seconds. So there it is. Yeah, crazy. This was a crazy show. Definitely crazy. A lot of yoga stretching, a whole lot of.
But that's okay.
But that's what I got. And so this is a silly one right before the new year. Let me know what you think. So thumb up the video, share to your social media, comment in the comment section. Thank you all channel members. Thank you for everyone who has donated. Thank you for everyone who has been watching since I've been making videos, watching during the off time between season 3 and season 4. Go forth, do great things, and I'm out. Peace.
I'm sorry. I really am. This is the only way.